Seeing no one else, do I have a motion to close?
Motion.
Motion.
You have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Mayor?
Thank you. Our community is beginning to turn for the better, even in the shadow of Mountain Creek's debt reorganization. Real estate is moving in Vernon. Since September, 113 condominiums and 301 residential sales have occurred. Small businesses are opening in Vernon and enjoying success. The New Yorker reported in 2015, American craft breweries collectively now sell more than 16.1 million barrels of beer annually, outpacing for the first time Budweiser. This isn't the only evidence that small-scale businesses are making a comeback. Over the last 10 years, the long-running decline of small farms has leveled out. Overall, since 1990, small businesses with generally fewer than 500 employees or less than 7.5 million in annual receipts have had millions of employees, while big businesses have shed millions. Every week, a new prospective business is contacting this administration to discuss opening a business here in Vernon. Addressing the reval. Our tax assessor, councilpersons Murphy and Rizzuto, and I met with the county tax board on July 19th to discuss the ordered tax revaluation. Vernon is the only municipality in the county that has not revaluated its properties. The last one occurred in 2009. Approximately 4 years ago, the Sussex County Board of Taxation and State ordered Vernon Township to undergo a municipal-wide revaluation for the 2018 tax year. Ordinance number 14-11 approved $200,000 for the preparation of the development phase of a new digital tax map for the township for this revaluation. The objective of a revaluation is the fair and equitable distribution of the tax burden. It is not performed in order to raise taxes. An extension of the revaluation to 2019 will be granted by the county. Excuse me. Successful tax appeals have a threefold negative impact on municipal budgets. First, the municipality, as the collector of taxes for the school district, county, and special districts, must fund the full cost of the legal defense of the assessment. Second, since state law guarantees to the county and school district 100% of their levies, the municipality bears the full cost of any reimbursements resulting from the appeal, as well as the full burden of any uncollected taxes. Third, the end result will be further decline in the property tax base used to support municipalities, county governments, and our school systems. The tax maps are now complete and require approval by the state. Any problems will be remedied. Inspection should begin in November of this year. Regarding the volunteers with the trail system, the third trail day was held last Saturday. Volunteers successfully blazed a trail parallel to Sand Hill Road so hikers can enjoy over 100 acres of township property. The work was stalled on Saturday due to a mother bear and her cubs. They too were enjoying the trail, so we stopped operations. This administration agenda is to develop a true four-season recreation community that offers free hiking, biking, and performing arts programs, and to construct pathways for alternate means of transportation. Pedestrian and bicycle infrastructure such as sidewalks, bike lanes, and trails can all be used for transportation, recreation, and fitness. These types of infrastructure have been shown to create many benefits for their users as well as the rest of the community. The community benefits from bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure through increased economic activity and higher property values. The goal is to connect Veterans Memorial Park, state property, several farms, the municipal building, the police athletic building, mid to low income housing, and a proposed 55-unit age restricted apartments to the town center. A trail is proposed initiating from Veterans Memorial Park to Commerce Drive, where various loops that contain an ADA-compliant boardwalk around a municipal amphitheater that connects to the town center, which in the future will receive redevelopment area designation to promote growth. The amphitheater/band shell and boardwalk will be constructed adjacent to the municipal building due to the availability of parking, access to the senior center, And recently, this building, has been hooked up to the sewer system, and public water will be available in the near future, allowing construction for a bathroom facility. The entire trail will be at 1.84 miles, with an anticipated additional 0.5 miles to account for loops around botanical gardens and art sculptures. It will be constructed of mixed materials, including stone dust, asphalt, and wood on municipal property and VTMUA easements. It will include Alpha and Omega drives, where a restricted age living complex is proposed. Pedestrian traffic will enjoy easy access to the senior center and the band shell. We are searching for grants, and with the assistance of Congressman Gottheimer's staff, Green Acres, Highlands Preservation, USDA, and Sustainable New Jersey, awarded monies will allow Vernon Township to construct a bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure for the health and well-being of its residents and guests. Recent socioeconomic and cultural trends point to higher demands for walkable and bikeable communities. Yet Vernon lacks adequate facilities for safe walking and biking into its town center. This will also require additional development. The initial estimated cost for a 2.3-mile mixed surface trail is $210,000. The band shell is estimated at $200,000. Maintenance is estimated at $4,000 annually. The pathway to sustainable Vernon is clear, and it consists of trails that promote connectability to commerce and community. Regarding civil service, they have completed their desk audit of Ms. Downtain's duties, responsibilities, and tasks. We received this ruling last Friday. They have ruled Ms. Downtain is considered to be serving provisionally in the title Recreation Supervisor. Pending promotional procedures, this action is effective February 27, 2017. As required by New Jersey Administrative Code 4A3-3.5C, within 20 days, 7 days of this night, the appointing authority shall either effect the required change or reassign their duties and responsibilities to an employee with the appropriate civil service title. There are no employees with the appropriate title. The ruling will have an effect on the following ongoing projects: a playground for Veterans Memorial Park, Sustainable Jersey certification, community garden makeover, the Trail Challenge, the New Jersey State Fair display, town calendar for 2018 that is business supported, the Senior Center 25th anniversary, grants for bike and hiking trails in the band shell, field scheduling, coordination of youth athletics, coordination of effort with the PAL, the GAC, the beautification, recreation, and other communities, community garden, dog park, Sussex County Chamber of Commerce, etc., etc. Ms. Downtain will receive a rights notice later this week to advise her of rights so that we may discuss this matter at the next council meeting. The ruling will be forwarded tomorrow to each one of the council members. I desire publicly to commend our emergency services for the outstanding protection they provide to our community. On July 21st, 2017, men and women of our police, fire, and first aid squads responded to a house fire, a drowning where 4 police officers and 2 firefighters gallantly continued to dive in 12 feet of water in an attempt to save the victim. Later that day, they had to assist West Milford in a fire. Our police and fire, our first aid squads constantly show their dedication, devotion, and service to the others, and I publicly want to thank them, and I know you will support any type of gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Resolution 17-144, resolution authorizing fireworks to be displayed on August 5th, 12th, 19th, and 26th, 2017 within the Township of Vernon. This authorizes fireworks at Mountain Creek. Resolution 17-145, authorizing a maintenance service contract with Gramco Business Communications in the amount not to exceed $975. This provides a maintenance contract for the courtroom recording software. This is not for the speaker system. Resolution 17-146, authorizing a maintenance service contract with Specialty Underwriters LLC in the amount not to exceed $3,422. This provides for maintenance service for various township-owned copiers and plotters. Resolution 17-147, authorizing change order 1 of contract for sewer connection to municipal building. This authorizes payment for an additional sewer tie-in due to conditions in the field for an increased cost of $1,110.82. Resolution 17-148, a resolution authorizing the execution of a discharge of CDBG mortgage for Block 268.21, lots 35 and 36, 60 Birch Drive. This release is a community development block grant for the aforementioned property. Resolution 17-149, authorizing approval of the Sussex County contribution to the Vernon and Glenwood Potrick ambulance squads. This authorizes receipt of the county contribution for the ambulance squads. Resolution 17-150, resolution authorizing the application to the Office of the Attorney General, Department of Law and Public Safety, Division of Criminal Justice. This authorizes application for the grant for bulletproof vests for the police department. Resolution 17-151, resolution authorizing extension of 2017 third quarter grace period, due date only. Due to the tax rate being received late, this authorizes an extension of the third quarter taxes as bills were delayed. May I have a motion to adopt Resolution 17-144 through 17-151?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Councilmember Keating?
Yes.
Councilmember Rizzuto?
Yes.
Councilmember Wetzel?
Yes.
Council President Murphy?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Introduction, first reading of proposed ordinances, ordinance 17-14, an ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 5, Article 7 of the Municipal Code of the Township of Vernon to establish the Division of Emergency Services. As per our previous presentation, this establishes a paid ambulance squad for the Township of Vernon. May I have a motion to introduce ordinance 1714 with a public hearing to be held on August 14th, 2017?
Motion.
I'll make a second, but I'd like to have discussion on this. I had, Thursday evening, I reviewed the ordinance, and I did give Mr. Volker a list of questions I had on Friday, which I think he emailed to us late this afternoon. So it might be beneficial if, maybe if the other council members could review it and maybe get some questions to Mr. Volker. And because I'm not sure that, like I said, I don't know that you had a chance to actually review maybe even some of the questions I had.
I would ask that in view of the fact that the township is completely protected right now by the excellent services that we receive through the St. Clair's people and through our own volunteer department, I'm comfortable with asking that this particular piece of legislation be withdrawn. Not because it's not necessary, but because there are too many questions in this. If tabling is a better term, then maybe we want to table it. But I would rather just have it withdrawn and reworked, because I'm looking at a number of comments. For example, on paragraph 4, there's a statement: a patient who receives emergency medical services from EMS people is obligated at the time service practical to provide all insurance pertinent to the township or the township's third party. Understood. Then it goes on to say in 5, all patients shall be liable for any co-payment or deductible amounts not satisfied by public or private insurance, and the township shall make reasonable collection efforts for all such balances according to the most current rules and regulations by applicable health care financing administration, federal policies and regulations. The township may bill any applicable co-insurance carriers for such amounts. Exceptions include only those instances where the township has knowledge of a particular patient's indigence and or where the township has made a determination that the cost of billing and collecting such co-payments or deductibles exceeds or is disproportionate to the amounts that are looking to be collected. Then it goes down on paragraph 6 to say, the township shall not bill any Vernon resident for any fee, balance, deductible, or co-payments not satisfied by public or private insurance. including Medicare and Medicaid, nor will the township bill a resident, Vernon resident, for emergency medical services provided if the resident is not covered by any private or public insurance. Unless I'm reading this incorrectly, it seems to be a contradiction. Now,
Pat,
at the end of,
I will withdraw my motion. I've already brought that point up with Chuck previously. I was counting on passing this as an introduction, and then over the 2 weeks, we can work on some of these things. I brought up about 3 or 4. I have many misgivings about it as well. So pardon the interruption, but I withdraw my motion.
okay,
I would like to make a motion to table it, though, and give us an opportunity to rework it, because
I'll second that motion.
but
Yeah,
it's
the
ta-
reason-
The
it's
town
ta-
is not a collection agency, just like the police are not a collection agency if you get a bad check from a customer.
correct.
The police will make the arrest, but they're not gonna do anything about getting the money from you, and the town, that's
Well-
not the town's
No,
job.
the point that I'm making is perhaps a legal point, and maybe Mr. Zelinski will be able to help us. Does tabling this provide the basis for making an extraordinary changes in the ordinance? Or is it better to be withdrawn and start all over again? Because in my mind, with what is presumed, i.e. the collection agency, having residents declare their ability or inability to pay by, I would imagine, disclosing their financial situation, having the question of whether or not as Councilwoman Owens brought up, perhaps at 3:30 in the afternoon, a person feeling they may need ambulance services holds off until 4:30 when a volunteer effort is available, so that a deductible and a co-insurance question is not involved in the decision. So, again, my question is it better to withdraw and rework, or can you do that under the auspices of a table?
You could do it both ways. So tabling, basically, there's no action that's going to be taken on the ordinance. At the next meeting, it can be introduced with amendments, or the ordinance can be withdrawn after it is reworked with everyone's comments. It can be reintroduced at a later date.
I would
I-
prefer, because I'd prefer to have comments at least made from this ordinance, rather than do nothing and wait for the next one to be reintroduced.
I think the cleaner way to do it would be to either have the ordinance withdrawn or have it not be introduced such that it dies and then can be reworked and introduced at a later date.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But it would be good if the council could at least send comments to administration.
Oh, sure,
So
absolutely.
they have something to work with.
Yeah. If I'm gonna get sick, I better get sick at night, not during the day, because then
I
it's gonna
think you
be
have
free.
insurance.
If I get sick during the day, I'm gonna have to pay for all this at night.
But we still need to make sure that the town is covered.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And otherwise, I think if I was not sure that residents of this town were not protected, I would have moved with a tabling rather than with asking that it be withdrawn and reworked in totality. But I just think there are just too many questions.
I also have questions about the job description of the coordinator. It reads like a full-time job. I think there's a problem with who establishes the salary for these individuals, because as far as I'm concerned, I think the council sets those things. What happens if there's a change of government? Is this structure maintained for a committee form of government, for instance? I think those questions have to be at least pondered. But I also agree with what Pat said. I am in question as to the funding. It seems to me that it would be a trust fund. It would have to fit into the fire department. And my question is whether or not we can expend those funds under the rules of the trust fund. If it's not a trust fund, it seems to me that it might be time to get a cashier But as it was explained to me, that this would be deposited electronically, so it certainly is not an administrative problem. But to me, those are some issues.
Does the council think that they would have some of their questions in to Mr. Volker to have this back on for August 14th? Is that sufficient time to have it back on the agenda for reintroduction, new ordinance, whichever?
Provided that we are given time to look at the ordinance. You know, for the last, I don't know how many months, we look at ordinances, we look at agendas, which are to be completed by Wednesday. That was the agreement that the township, that the council made, and it was responsibility of actually of the council president working with the administration to make sure that these agendas were locked by Wednesday. Now, once in a while, you would get an emergent situation, and you have to make a change. But the emergent situations seem to be becoming the commonplace, and we are no longer honoring the Wednesday date, and there's just not enough time, I think. So, please assure me that you would make sure that these agendas will be locked by Wednesday afternoon, and that once we get them, we can be assured that there'll be nothing else coming later on in terms of revisions or additions.
Not a problem, but if you have a question with the agenda, feel free to call me instead of going to Mr. Volker. So, I'll withdraw my
Not a
motion
question
to
of-
table. I'll withdraw my motion to table, so that...
I'll withdraw my
if-
second.
If the council could at least prepare some questions on this ordinance, so Mr. Volker will know how to proceed with administration and to have something redrafted, but I think input from the council is vital.
So just to be clear, for the purpose of the clerk's records, there's no motion to introduce this ordinance. Okay, thank you.
Public,
I'm sorry, they requested put it on the agenda for August 14th.
providing that administration has a new draft. Public hearing, second readings of ordinances. Ordinance 17-12, an ordinance authorizing a special emergency appropriation of $1 million for the revaluation of real property by the Township of Vernon in the County of Sussex, New Jersey. This authorizes the township to appropriate or encumber the funds for the revaluation because the state allows such expenditures over a 5-year period to be listed as a special emergency. It does not issue a bond or a ban at this time. May I have a motion to open to the public for hearing for ordinance 1712?
Motion?
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there anyone that would like to step up and have a comment on ordinance 1712? Seeing no one come forward, may I have a motion to close to the public?
Motion?
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 1712?
Motion?
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Kadesh?
Yes.
Councilmember Rizzuto?
Yes.
Councilmember Wetzel?
Yes.
Council President Murphy?
Yes.
Motion carried to adopt ordinance 1712.
An ordinance authorizing the conveyance of Block 120, Lot 19.03 to the County of Sussex. The county is realigning Bridge X09 over the Papacatting Creek on Route 565 and needs to purchase a piece of property from the township to complete this task. This ordinance authorizes the conveyance of the property. May I have a motion to open the public hearing for ordinance 1713?
Motion?
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there anyone from the public that would like to address the council on ordinance 1713? Seeing no one stepping forward, may I have a motion to close the public hearing for ordinance 1713?
Motion?
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 1713?
Motion?
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Kadesh?
Yes.
Councilmember Rizzuto.
Yes.
Councilmember Wetzel.
Yes.
Council President Murphy.
Yes. Council comments. Councilmember Kadesh?
None at this time.
Councilmember Rizzuto? Any comments?
Yeah. Relative to the mayor's comments regarding a band shell, he knows that I've been actively requesting that this be included in a budget. 200,000 is more than enough. But the answer that I received when asked why not put it at Maple Grange Park, which to me is the perfect place for it, is not enough parking. But yet, we're looking at putting it near Town Hall, which to me has less parking than Maple Grange. So I question the logic in that in that decision, in that discussion. You know, as with any number of projects which have been proposed, proposal and existence are two different things. We look at what the council has requested of the mayor in terms of an appraisal on the Faline building, and we still wait for that. And there was a question at that point of we needed the money because it would help our revenue stream. Speaking of revenue streams, I offered the mayor a revenue stream utilizing use for the DPW and with an extended contract. And again, I got no response from that other than I will not sign the extended contract. The Wisteria property, which to me, I voted against initially, and I felt it was an inappropriate purchase. I didn't think it was going to go anyplace, and I certainly looked at it as a way of an area that we would be wasting money. And at this point, I know we've expended about $30,000, and yet the final question has not been brought before the council to either say yes or no. Not that I would have said yes, but certainly I would like to see its fate completed in terms of whether or not there is a possibility that this goes forward or that it doesn't. My hope is that there is no possibility that for the purchase of this particular property. So, you know, there are a number of situations here which I think should be addressed and for the benefit of the township. And my other question is, this Greener by Design, are they here for what reason? To take the place of another entity, meaning the Land Use Conservancy? Is that your intention, or?
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, I don't understand the reason why. Having worked with the Land Use Conservancy myself with Mr. Wetzel, we did an awful lot of work with them, and I found their understanding of the situation to be very, very effective, and I would have to say that it's going to take some persuading, but open ears. Lastly, I've been sitting here pondering, and, you know, I value my associate's counsel, and when he's made some statements in terms of for Mr. Ricky, in terms of extending the 30-day grace period, I said no. And I have every reason to be able to support my position. However, in rereading the memo, I noticed that the one group that he was talking about were the Cub Scouts. Now, having been involved in scouting myself as a Cub Master, and many, many, many years ago, and in working with these youngsters, I know they look forward to these camporees and going out and sleeping under the stars. And I'm wondering, would members of the council reconsider their position and bring this up? And in terms of allowing this group to obtain their permit. If not, I can understand their position. because I assented with the majority on this, but since we can discuss this prior to the closure of the meeting, I wanted to bring it up, because honestly, I was not aware, I probably overlooked it, that the Cub Scouts were involved in this.
You got it.
Excuse me,
down there.
Councilmember Rizzuto, I believe that what he was saying was that in 2015, that was the Cub Scout Camporee
Oh,
event.
so
It
this
was
is not now?
Not this time. He was indicating it was, just from his testimony, that he
Okay.
said it was someone that they had last year who had made a deposit last year. It's
All right. But didn't he then say that deposit was going to be used for the same function this year,
Well, he-
carry forward?
I believe that he said that he could not refund the deposit last year.
So it was going to be used as a
Using
carry
it as the
forward.
deposit for this year, yeah.
So essentially,
I
there.
think for payment for this year,
Yeah,
actually.
so, again, I don't know if we can do this, but, I would ask for consideration of that particular position. If you don't, it's fine with me.
If he was paying his taxes with proceeds, I would consider it. But there's no taxes being paid, so.
That's the reason for my nay. Okay.
Councilmember Wetzel,
Not at this time.
this time. See, the only, I actually would just like to let the public be aware that the ordinance for the dangerous dog will be back on the agenda, scheduled to be back on August 14th. And just for some clarity, I think there was a lot of misinformation out there regarding this ordinance. And since our ordinances are posted online ahead of time, if the public has any question, they're certainly able to call and ask. We presently have one dog that is deemed dangerous in town, and the idea is, like I said, it needs to be addressed, and it's not breed-related, it's not specific to a breed, but if council members have questions prior to the meeting, they can certainly call administration. We also had Tom Malero, the animal control officer, here at the introduction, so any of the council members could have asked any questions. Did you have anything to say?
I just wanted to say real quickly, the dog has actually been adjudicated to be dangerous, not deemed dangerous, may have a different connotation. The dog was adjudicated to be dangerous, and I think that's an important distinction.
And explain that. Just-
Well, a judge determined that the dog is dangerous, and you also need, probably the public may not be aware that an individual lost a finger because of the dog, and that's what led to the adjudication that the dog is in fact dangerous.
Yeah, sort of
Okay,
big.
motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.